Introducing myself, so I am Vaibhav. I did my bachelor's in mechanical engineering from Vellore Institute of Technology, Chennai campus back in India. I did my undergrad from 2017 to 2021. I graduated in July this year. So I did my majors in mechanical engineering, but I was in a Baha SE team. I joined that team in my first year. So I kind of developed an interest in sensors at that time because we had an electrical data acquisition department. I was in brakes. I joined as a mechanical enthusiast, but I really liked their work. I was pretty curious that even such things are there in a core mechanical team. So that's how I started to come into this domain of controls, which I'm doing right now. I kind of used to work with the electrical team in small roles, like if you want any help in, sensor assembly or anything like that. So that's how I started. Then for the first 3 years, I was majorly doing things as a mechanical engineering guy because I was in the brakes department. I did CAD, CAM, FEA. My curriculum was all focused on these core mechanical subjects, manufacturing, 3D printing, which is kind of a modern subject. That was one thing I enjoyed. Then by my fourth year, we had to go home from the university because of the COVID-19 lockdown. At that time, I kind of started to build on my interest in controls. First, I just started with many very small projects. I worked a lot on Arduino. I had a few good friends who helped me with that. So I developed a base in control starting with Arduino. I did a few projects. I wrote a paper. I presented it at an online conference. Then I came into more of a core controls kind of a work where I worked on yaw moment control system for vehicles. That was kind of a turning point for me. That's why I wish to mention it explicitly. I wrote a paper on that as well. That was my final year project, yaw moment compensation for automobiles using the brake system. It's even there on my CV. And parallel to this, like since I kind of had time at home, I even started with computer vision. I did a course first on computer vision on machine learning. Then I dived into computer vision. I did projects on that as well after I finished my final year project of yaw moment compensation. So that was how I got into controls and machine learning. These are the two subjects which are now my like focus areas as a graduate student. So right now I am in the specialization of dynamics and controls here at the university. Though they officially don't tag MS students with the concentration, that's more for PhD students, but we can still unofficially take that tag for ourselves considering the courses that we take. So for this semester, like the semester is over, but I took the courses of feedback control systems. I did intermediate dynamics, and the third one was robot perception, which is on autonomous navigation. And
Mhm.
actually, this course of robot perception kind of pulled me towards the autonomous navigation industry, which is all about machine learning. So since I had I came here for controls. As I said, I kind of had a fascination with it. But parallelly, I learned about machine learning and how autonomous navigation is based on it. So now I kind of focus on computer vision and machine learning. My lab, I am a member of a laboratory for intelligent systems and controls. So even that is all in a nutshell. That lab works a lot on autonomous systems, and computer vision is kind of at the core of it. So I am working a lot on computer vision. Even today, I came for a project that we have in collaboration with the company. We have to finish a part for it today. So yes, so that is how I like right now. I am focused on machine learning and computer vision, a bit on controls as well because I would be looking for internships and that. But the problem that has come, which is kind of it struck me in just one go in like about a month ago, was when I started applying to roles. I initially applied to roles in controls, but then I went to autonomous navigation as well, perception, machine learning, etc. So I realized that in the job description, most of the companies, what they do is they write it is preferred to have someone from computer science, robotics, at times it is also electronics and other related fields. But explicitly for a computer vision machine learning role, they don't really write a mechanical engineering person.
Mhm.
Though for controls they do, but for machine learning, etc., they don't.
Mhm.
So yes, like this was kind of a problem that I came across. And second
When
was
when are you
even
graduating?
I'll be done in 2023. This is just my first year.
So this is just first semester.
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. So you came in August or something.
Yeah, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay,
August.
okay. Okay, and I think right now you must be looking for either internship for.
Yes,
I think that's
yes,
where
yes,
the
yes.
feedback is coming from, probably.
Yes, sir, for internship goals. That's all
Okay,
that's been going.
okay, okay. Okay, got it. Go ahead.
Yeah. So yes, so like even I kind of when I look at the roles, even for a control engineering role, which is probably more likely for me to get into. Even that requires a software development background, and that at the very core of it, I have seen that they want a C++ guy. So I do know C++. I did it in my school. I did it in my undergrad. I'm focusing on it now as well. But considering it's a software development role and the description says that they want someone from mechanical, EC, CAC, like any controls or computer vision role just has these 4 5 branches that they write. I was just curious that how deep should I be, like how much, to what extent should I consider that okay, I can get through, I cannot get through, how much should, as I wrote, I like even big companies like Apple, Facebook, Google, all these have computer vision roles. So how likely is it that a company would really like a mechanical engineering graduate who would want to work in computer vision for them? So I'm just not being able to understand my standing in considering my degree and what I
Yeah,
want to
sure,
do.
sure.
Yes, sir.
So, unfortunately or fortunately, what you are mentioning is a very common problem. Uh,
Mhm.
and you have to understand you are competing with people who are in the core areas of these
Yes,
topics, and you are
yes,
coming from sideways, right?
yes, sir.
So that, I mean, you have to understand that the barrier for you is twofold or threefold.
Hmm. Yes, sir.
So that's like, for example, it is very similar in India also, right? Where when I was doing my bachelor's and I did my bachelor's in mining engineering, for me to move out from, like, I don't want to be a mining engineer, I want to work for something else, right? I
Yes,
I
sir.
I have to move out and change my degrees and things like that. Those were old days, but still, I would say the barrier is maybe is less, but there is still a barrier in that sense, because, as I said, why why would a company like Cisco will hire a mining engineer versus a computer science guy, right?
Yes, yes, sir.
I think this is what essentially you are talking about. And you are
Yes,
saying, I am good in what I do. I'm better than that. But, many times you have to understand that. And I think I have realized that too. Although I can say I know data science, although I can say I know robotics, but there's something about being in that core sector, going through that courses, that knowledge. That, for example, the courses I have taken in my life are related to material science and engineering, right? And I
yes,
know data science that has application to materials, but I cannot compete with a person who has taken core courses in those topics and is in the computer science, because that's what their bread and butter is,
yes, sir.
right? So that is always going to be there as a barrier. And I
Mhm.
think that's what what you're talking about and what your problem is, and you will face that, let's be honest with that.
Yes, yes,
Question
yes.
here is how to get out from that barrier, or how to move out from that barrier. Is essentially, there are only two ways that works out. Only two ways, trust me. And I can tell you with my example with that, and in future, just keep that in mind, that that's true. One is either you change your core sector, core area. Like, for
Mhm.
example, I moved from mining to civil, and then I did my PhD in mechanical, and that was the only
Yes, sir.
reason I am able to move out
Mhm.
completely where I am. There is no
Yes,
other
sir.
way. There is no other way. Although I don't think I that degree has something to do, but not completely change what I was, my thought process was, or what I was
Yes,
able to do. You know what I mean?
yes, yes.
You
Now I have
understand?
started to realize
Right.
these things.
So that's number one thing. And also, for example, right now where I am in my job, I'm thinking, okay, can I, work for business development for Lockheed on space, and work on government relationship? But
Mhm.
there are people who have MBA from Wharton and have done strategy and had
Mhm.
economics degree in government relations. Can I compete with them? Do you understand my point? So
Yeah,
then
I
what I
completely
do,
get
I
it.
have to go and get an MBA degree.
Yes, yes,
Right?
yes. The tag has
So,
to
so,
come.
so you have to understand there is you are encroaching the areas where there are people already there.
Mhm.
What you can do, I in my opinion, is leverage your skill set and your degrees, and
Mhm.
find a space where you can get a 50-50 match. not 100-0, but a 50-50 match. And that example could be, let's say, for example, find a job in Tesla, which is for a mechanical engineer,
Mhm.
and it's related to what you knowledge as a mechanical engineer is being perceived from you, and go there. And once you are there,
Yes.
once you are there, then you can do whatever you want.
Okay.
Just don't go right away. It will be difficult. It will be very
Mhm.
difficult. But so
Okay.
my advice to everyone is exactly like that. For example, for a mining engineer to work in a space company is not possible. You have to somehow go there. Now I can do whatever I want.
Mhm. Yes, sir.
So that's how it works. That's exactly the idea. Because, as I said, there is no way I can compete with a AI guy who has done his undergrad in computers and masters and PhD in computers. That's their area, right?
Mhm. Yes, yes.
And that's exactly is going to happen to you. There is
Mhm.
no you can think of yourself as a person who knows, mm, the best of the best, but honestly, you don't know, because that not you read. You took course in thermodynamics that has nothing to do with that. The guy was taking a course in AI, right? The core course.
Yes, sir.
So I'm not saying there what you're doing is wrong or whatever. I'm just suggesting you what is the right way to do it. It has to be, it could be 25/70. That means just look for, first of all, look for a company. So I will give you an example. Facebook has jobs, of a reliability engineers that they are looking
Okay.
for. Apple has jobs. I have friends in Apple who are materials. They are managers there, and they have a degree in material science, but now they do something totally different.
Mhm. Yes, sir.
So what I'm saying is they don't have a degree in electronics or computers, but now they are in charge of everything because they entered there as a materials engineer. They started to work on some glass, polymer, ceramic, and whatever it is, because that's what their degree was. And then once they move out, and then when you are in there, then you will find out that you can do. It is much easier for you to move and work on different projects, and then slowly move to what you really want to do.
Okay.
Right away it's difficult. It will be
Yeah,
difficult.
I understand. Yes.
So this would be my advice to you is
Mhm.
I think first you should go to a company where you want, no matter what.
Mhm.
And
Okay.
then, as I said to you, if there's a job for a mechanical engineer that they're looking for, and that sounds like a person who is for mechanical engineer,
Mhm.
for someone who is electrical engineer or a computer engineer, it's difficult to get that. So you are the right person because you have everything that you can offer, right?
Mhm.
And then once you are there, then move out. It will be
Okay.
much easier. Yeah, that's how it works in our companies, to be honest with you.
Mhm. Mhm.
And that has been my experience also. Like my first job was in Rolls Royce. I used to work for Fuel Cell, and I joined that company as a materials engineer, materials guy. And and what happened is, after the year, they were looking, actually not materials, but I was hired as a person who is a specialist in ceramics.
Okay.
So that was my background at that time.
Mhm.
And so I worked on ceramics, and after a year there was a problem came, and they were looking for someone who can solve a problem on metals because they had some issues. I
Mhm.
jumped over it, and then I
Okay.
became that guy. But then they started to look for someone who can manage the supply chain for metals. So I became a supply chain guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it just keeps
And
adding.
that's how I learned a lot. That's how my journey has been.
Mhm.
But if I would have, if there's an opening for a supply chain person for any company for that matter, trust me, they would hire someone who has an MBA in supply chain.
Mhm. Yes.
So that's how it's going to be for you also.
Mhm.
Yeah,
All right.
because as
So,
I said,
sir.
it's you're competing with people who are experts.
Mhm.
But it will be very easy for you once in that company, because then they know your work ethics, they know how much you have done, and it will be easy for you to begin with also, because what you see on a piece of paper, that you do a project and you think you are an expert, it doesn't work that way, to be honest with you.
Mhm. Yes, yes.
Yeah,
I've kind of understood
yeah.
that nowadays. Um, so sir, in this, like you said, within companies, it kind of gets easier. So do we make an official shift to other roles, or it's
Yeah.
just added to what we are?
It depends on the companies to companies, but what happens is usually when you are a company, nowadays companies don't work as a silo as they used to be. So for example, if you hired this person and that's what you do, usually
Mm-hmm.
now you work on projects. So no matter you are in this division,
Mm-hmm.
and let's say, for example, if you get hired in a division who is for controls, right?
Okay.
And there is a project going on controls, and you are usually in charge for a couple of projects, or you are working on, and there is another project that is going on, and the lead in that project is looking for someone who can help with robotics, and you're like, hey, I have done something and I can really help you out. And they
Mm-hmm.
said, okay, come in. You work in that project. And if you're really good at it, what happens is usually you slowly move out.
Okay. Okay. So
That's how
it'll.
that. Yeah. It's. I mean, my past 2 years in, not 2 years, 1.5 years in Lockheed, I have moved 3 times to different roles,
Okay.
and that too, and I loved it. I got hired as a specialist for materials for high temperatures. Then I moved now in digital transformation, and then started working on human lander program, and they were looking for someone who has a knowledge in mining, because they are looking for nowadays, NASA has setting up to launch in moon, and they are trying to set up base in moon. And so what you do, you start mining, right? You mine moon so that you can take out minerals. So my background is mining, so I can
Mine.
help.
Okay. So
That's how it works. Yeah.
that.
So you never know where you're gonna fit in. Yeah.
Okay.
So and for me, that's what I like about. I don't like working in just one thing and one. I just want to, because you get saturated. You want to move on whatever opportunities, because this was a promotion, more money, good
Mhm.
new thing, learning. So whatever works for you,
Okay.
whatever you like. Yeah. Many people just like to work on one thing and one lab, and that's how they are. And
Okay.
many people, keep moving and
Keep
do it.
moving. Yes. Yes. Even
So
here,
you will,
I.
yeah. But only thing my advice would be is, make sure you, when you start with, either join a startup,
Mhm.
because that's where you're going to learn a lot, because that's what my first job was at Rolls-Royce. It was a job at Rolls-Royce, but usually really it was a startup from Rolls-Royce and LG. So I learned quite a lot, because when you work on a startup, you are basically everything. You are
You
sweeper, you are manager, you are everything. So you wear different hats, and I learned quite a lot. But
okay.
if you start with a big company immediately, I think you lose a lot, in my opinion. And in later career, you want to be a part of a big company, and
Mhm.
in a big role. But my advice is, when you begin your career, begin with a startup, because you learn a lot, and that's going to help you later on. Because what happens in big company, when you join a big company, like for example, let's say you join Facebook or Apple, and as a
Mhm.
as a fresh, there are so many barriers, and it's, I think you lose quite a lot at the learning. And that's my feedback
Mhm.
has been for my particular career. But people can have different things. But that's how I see, and within Lockheed too, the people who join, they they are very junior, and their experience is quite very less as compared to when you start to work in a startup and all that.
Mhm.
But it's always good to have a good brand also. So if you join a good company with a good brand, that's going to help you out too, for sure. Yeah.
So in this, like, I was wondering, like, the roles that I have applied, like, there are roles of perception engineer I have applied to. So would a mechanical engineering guy at least be considered, or they like there's a trend that they can just filter out and give priority to the CS guys and then you know come down the ladder? Is that how it works? Like, I was wondering.
I won't say I would disagree with that, to be honest with
Mhm.
you, because
Yes.
you have to understand, if you here's it, very simple. If you see a role, and that's how I have been. This is my fourth job or fifth job,
Mm-hmm.
and I all my jobs I got by applying online without referral.
Okay.
It's not like
Okay.
network. I know someone, so I saw a job, I applied, I went through the process, and I knew every time when I got a job that I will get it.
Oh,
So if this is what your feeling was, when you applied that, and you feel is very strongly about it, you will know, to be honest with you.
okay.
So
Okay.
I would say, but as I said to you, is the feeling is just doesn't have to be very emotional. It has to be logical in the sense
Yes,
that,
yes.
as I said to you, if it's mentioned computer science and blah blah blah, then you really know your chances. But if it mentioned mechanical specifically, you should know your chances.
Okay.
That's
Okay,
what
so
happens.
there's that.
Yeah.
And okay. And considering like I have just come right after my bachelor's, would that also be a problem, or that can be
I mean,
adjusted?
uh, so I know people who have done internship in Tesla
Mhm.
and things like that, but they did work in India in Tata Motors quite a lot, things like
Okay.
that. So I have known that sort of a thing does help. I won't say that does not, because
Okay.
internships and all that, your prior experience will help a lot.
Well,
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's no doubt. But as you have to understand that in your case, you just has completed not even a semester.
mhm.
You have very
Yes.
less to speak about yourself,
Mm-hmm.
right? Compared to people who have done their undergrads, and the work culture here, they go to internship every summer. So this guy who's coming from undergrad and doing masters or whatever is been doing he has a work experience. Forget about
Mm-hmm.
where, have work experience since he has gone to high school, whether it's McDonald's or whatever. So that
Mm-hmm.
work experience does groom a lot. You know what I mean?
Yes, yes.
And you are
So
coming as a
that
fresh.
kind of thing.
Yeah, and I won't say that people don't get it, but
Mm-hmm.
as I said to you, I'm just talking about easiness, the barriers you have,
Mm-hmm.
right? So what you gonna say about what you can talk about what experience you have or what courses you have taken is all academic and projects and things like that. But
Mm-hmm.
definitely a prior work experience and internship does help, no doubt. But
Mm-hmm.
as I said, you may have more barriers, but doesn't mean that you can't, you are not eligible. But apply. Here's the other thing, as you have to understand, like in India, when we used to go to engineering college, we apply to best colleges and then we go to second best. I just do the
Mm-hmm.
same thing, apply best thing, but you have to understand you need experience, because
Yes,
that's
yes.
going to help you in your job too.
Mm-hmm.
So your first goal is to get internship. Your second goal is to get in a good place.
Okay.
The first goal is to get it, because
Great. I
there will be nothing worse, especially if you are paying everything from your pocket,
mm-hmm.
your tuition, everything. You want to have money rather than just sitting for 2 or 3 months,
Mm-hmm. Yes, yes.
right? So first thing first, get an internship. Second thing, w- yes, Apple will be the best, but that is the second thing. But first thing, get in. Many
Get
times what happens is you will find that startups are much more accommodating.
mm-hmm.
They are much more lenient, they are much more open, and
Mm-hmm.
they and usually people, when in US, I have seen students, they are looking for internship, they are always looking for, you know mm, Lockheeds and Apples and this and that.
Mm-hmm.
uh, Become, in your case, you can say, okay, this could be my second thing, but first I need to get an internship,
Mm-hmm.
have that in hand.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so
Yes, sir.
apply in startups. There are so many startups nowadays that
Mm-hmm.
are looking for students, and I'm pretty sure that you will be happy to. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
and let me tell you, if you get to work in a startup as an internship, you will learn a lot. Those 3 months, they will grill you. I mean, Tesla works like a startup too. They grill pretty much all the students.
Mm-hmm.
So, and any company for that matter. So.
And so following this, there was one more thing. It was is it like worth it to go for a minors? I was because considering that if I move to a minors in computer science, if like I will be asking my university about it, like if there's a provision. So is that step good right now, or I should slow down a bit? Like, is it worth it, or like I just had this thought and I was thinking like, would it be too much to do, or
Do you have
in
to
your
pay
experience?
extra for that?
I'll have most probably I'll have to. I'll be asking my. I actually waited for this call to go ahead with this
Okay.
decision, but I was just wondering if a minors can help, or they just want a proper person to, or that is just a thing in between.
I won't say that doesn't help, but it also
Mm-hmm.
depends on, um, how much money you have to pay for all
Mm-hmm.
this thing. To be honest, is it $5,000 or $50,000? To me,
Okay.
that will be the decision maker, to be honest with you. If you are just taking the courses and those courses will be counted as elective, and then for you, basically there is nothing, all you get a minor with taking some courses, I will do it. But if they say, if you want to do it, then you have to pay extra $20,000, I really think about it, to be honest.
Yes, I agree. I understand.
Yeah. Because, as I said, university are basically money-making machines in US, so, if you have bunch of, you are loaded, go ahead and give them. But if you're not, and if you really care about that part, I would say then really be careful where you're spending, because, to be honest with you, once you're out, you will realize that the return of an investment is good or not. And in unlike in India, US universities does not matter that much where you get a job. You will find, if let's say if you go to Apple, you will not find everybody from Harvard or wherever. You will find people from San Jose University as your manager. You have to understand that.
Yes.
So, I have never paid a dime for my job, my education. So I'm very careful when I tell people how to spend and what to spend.
Okay.
So as I said, if it comes easy, do it. No harm. Maybe it's benefit you, but if it's something that they're going to charge you extra or whatever, then yeah.
Okay. And so about companies, like till now I've applied and there has been a mix, like some referrals, some without referrals. So how like prevalent is the referral culture? Like, is there a general?
A lot. US works on referral. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. If you know someone, you will get your interview right away. Referral is the key. Networking is the key. Yes, no doubt. I mean, it has been once incident in my life where I knew someone and I said, hey, I saw an opening, and I got interview next day. Otherwise, you have to stand in line, and then hopefully someone, HR will read it, and hopefully the manager will like it, and hopefully you will get an interview call, and hopefully you will get selected. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And Lockheed also, I've seen like people who do internship one time, they keep coming.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. And so one was like coming back to what we spoke about. So even I've also learned from people that working for startups, you will grow more at a faster pace, at least at this level. So it's probably a different question, but is LinkedIn the best way to? Is there some good resource where I can just get a list of companies or like good startups in this field? Would a random Google search be good enough for that, or there's a specific way to find companies in my domain that like, just a general question?
I mean, usually Google and LinkedIn are the best, to be honest with you. And the more you talk to people, the only difference between you and me is not the knowledge. The only difference between you and me is the 15-year of experience in the gap. You don't have to, so what you do to fill that gap, you talk to people like me as much as you can.
Yes.
That's it. That's the only thing that, and don't shy away in talking to people, because those are the biggest resources you can find. And for you, I would say, I'm pretty sure since you're in Cornell, you try to get connected with alumni network, try to get connection, talk to those people, find out where the people went who graduated before you, whether they are from India or not, doesn't matter. Talk to them. If you, I mean, it's very easy. Like if you are looking for in Apple, right, like LinkedIn type Apple Cornell, you will find like thousands of people.
Yes, sir.
So
I've been thinking to
it. Right. So I would say those will be the best resource for you, in my opinion. Those people are the one who are going to help you out the most. Yeah, that's how it works, to be honest. And as I said, don't avoid certain things. Don't come out as a greedy person. Like, I'm looking for an internship. Can you help me? Worst thing ever you can write. Worst thing ever a person can write. Nobody is going to help you if you ask, like, I'm looking for a help. The only time people help you, usually where you have already done your homework and you are looking for some help. Like, for example, I have this degree. I'm just looking for how can I improve my chances. That is a good email, right? Like a lot of time I get that email too, like, can you help me in getting this internship at Lockheed? Sorry, I don't. It doesn't work that way. And how can you help a random person you don't know?
Yeah.
Right. So those don't write those things. Don't be greedy. Don't come out as a person who is like very, opportunist and things like that. It will not work. It will backfire.
And yes, so following this, last is like I kind of, this is just I've kept a decision on the sideline. How do you see a PhD for a profession in a professional capacity? Because you have done a PhD and you are in the industry. So, like, was there a story behind doing a PhD, and is there anything you have to say on doing a PhD, why one should do it, and things like that? I'm just curious about
Yeah,
it.
yeah, no. Actually, it's a very good question. And I will tell you the answer right away. I knew I have to do PhD when I was in second year of my undergrad,
Oh, okay.
and I was very clear. There is no if and but on that, because
Mm-hmm.
I loved the research component of it. So,
Mm-hmm.
and when I did PhD, not a single day I went for regret even now, because when I was
Mm-hmm.
doing it, I was enjoying it so much. I
Mm-hmm.
was enjoying it. So my point here is the only reason you can do a PhD because you are interested and you are enjoying it. It has nothing to do with the money. It has nothing to do with because I will get PhD, I will get better job. Trust me, masters can get much better job. I have friends who were graduating and were getting a job at Amazon, making a six-figure salary when I was in second year of my PhD. So it was a horrible thinking at that time. But
Mm-hmm.
what kept me going? Because I was loving it. But I
Okay.
knew people who hated it. It was a miserable time for them, like miserable, because then could not concentrate, and the advisor was on top of them, and
Mm-hmm.
advisor relationship with the student is not good all the time. So that makes it worse. So
Mm-hmm.
never do it if you having doubt. You are only doing it because of interest. It has nothing to do with you being good, you being knowledge. Yeah, there is an
Mm-hmm.
ego part of it. People are gonna call you doctor and all that, which is fine. There is nothing wrong in it. Yeah, I will also tell you one thing is one reason you would like to do a PhD is, like, say, for example, you are really interested in the technical stream of a job in Lockheed. You want to be more technical in a technical
Mm-hmm.
side rather than manager side, or any company. You will find
Mm-hmm.
people who are like the CTOs and director of R&D all have PhDs. I
Yes,
have
yes,
seen that.
I've seen that.
I have seen that, yeah. So that, and I have known people who have denied a job because they had masters and not PhDs, just because of that reason. And
Mm-hmm.
because they were looking for, and all the top organization, if you look for, doesn't matter, BMW to Rolls Royce, all top R&D people are PhDs.
Mm-hmm. Yes, yes,
But
that's
that's your, but if you're looking for people who are managers and CFOs and CEOs, and they have MBAs and masters or bachelors, that's it. So,
mm-hmm.
it depends on what you want to do. But PhD is definitely those 5 years or 6 years or 7 years. I don't know. Depends on
Mm-hmm.
professors and whatever. Or 4 years, how good you are at it. Um, has to be a time where you are loving it, you're enjoying it. Otherwise, it becomes very miserable because you don't make money. Your life becomes horrible. You are
Mm-hmm.
working with a lot of uncertainty all the time, and so it's but yeah, once you complete it, it's a sight of relief. But then the second part comes after, which I have also seen in my career too, where I doubted, did I wasted my time, because the 5 years are gone, and where people made money. So
Yes.
yeah, but I don't have any regrets now, but at that time, you sometimes you feel, because you never know what happens, right, where your career goes, and what happens. For some it works out, for some it doesn't work out, or for some reason,
Mm-hmm.
then definitely people doubt about that and all that. So yeah.
Actually, so there was one more thing when you spoke about careers. We do have time, right? It's
Yeah, yeah.
you are in a time crunch. I'll
Just
just wind it up.
give me one
Yes.
second. Just I had a call actually. Just give me 1 second.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, I'll try to wind it up quickly. Actually, this is pertaining to what we discussed in the starting. So even as a mechanical engineering student, like controls is still a domain where they do right. They want mechanical engineering people, but there's always that additional part in that control software developer, control software engineer. So is like in the industry open to mechanical people being software engineers for them, or they won't really like it in the end? Like, how is the trend going? Because being very honest on this call, I didn't really come expecting that there will be an additional part of a software engineer.
No, as I
So
said to you, that you should look at the description, to be honest with you. If the description
yes,
does mention about, the description should give you a very good idea about
yes,
whether it's going 75% towards mechanical or 75% towards more computers.
mm-hmm.
Because you
Okay,
have to
so
understand, if you're working in that type of problem, you're working with people who are mechanical and who are computers, but then most of the work is done by computer science people.
mhm,
Is mechanical engineers, theirs are only just an interface.
mhm, okay,
You have to really get that through, that
yes, yes,
description very clearly. But if it's about software development for controls, my feeling would be those people will be more on computer science stream.
mhm, okay,
Like, for example,
and
people are working on satellites, right? And they are working
mhm,
on 3D visualization or whatever,
mhm,
renderation so who are those people who are making these AI modules and things like that, right?
those are-
And then
okay,
definitely, I mean, it sounds like mechanical guy, you have to put satellites together, but that's, you have to understand, lot of things nowadays has moved towards digital, everything. I mean,
mhm,
people really are looking for someone who is hands-on companies. Like, I work for digital transformation. I can't tell you much more that
yes,
how much emphasis is to be work on things like digital twins and things like that.
mhm,
So as a mechanical engineer, you can provide the information, but the people who are really doing that sort of work and I mean, you can run a MATLAB, but if I ask you to write if I ask you to do some code programming for that, I mean, you know who those people will be.
it gets it. Yes, yes,
Yeah, so that's how it is, to be honest with you. Yeah. So don't,
mhm.
as I said to you,
And so
that's why I tell you at the start that the only way for you to move in there is to find your core and at least go there first, and then do
mhm,
whatever you want. Because if you're good at it, you will be allowed to do whatever you want. But to begin
okay,
with, you are competing with a lot of people who are coming. And one thing I will tell you, in US, when any companies or managers hire you, they really believe in what courses you took. They really believe in versus what work you did to begin with.
yes, yes,
When we hire someone, we see, okay, what courses you have taken, and we'd like to see what grades you got.
mhm,
And but your courses, so here are your courses, here are courses from person who are competing, will look completely different.
mhm,
That's
okay,
what I'm saying. Yeah, course, they take it very seriously here, those things.
okay, that was insightful. Actually, I was curious about that.
Yeah. They you're like, I have done this project in AI, and there's this guy who had taken 4 courses in AI.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes, that will break everything.
That's what I'm trying to make on my
Yes,
profile right
yes.
now. So this really, I needed this.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying is there is like you have to sneak out your path. And as I said,
Yeah,
if you are
exactly.
good at something, you will do it. I mean, look at
Mhm.
Pache, right? He was a materials metallurgy
I
guy.
exactly. I was thinking about him only all this time
Yeah.
instead of.
So it then he went to Wharton. Has nothing to do with his degree,
But yeah,
right?
yes, yes.
So
I was thinking about the same person.
yeah.
I think this really helps. Yes.
So
And so
Vaibhav, I'm
any,
glad
yes.
this information would have
Mhm.
helped you a lot. Also,
Yeah, yes,
keep in touch.
for sure.
Yeah, keep in touch.
Yes,
And
of course.
yeah. And by the way, actually, I was wondering, where are you from, India?
I'm originally from Uttarakhand, but like
Where?
my father's in the army. Nainital.
Where in Nainital?
Nainital, it's on Tallital side. The
You know the place
Ni-
Haldwani?
sorry, sir.
You know a place called Haldwani?
Oh yes, it's like we move up from there to Nainital.
I'm from Haldwani actually.
Oh,
Yeah, that's why
so
your name
to be
sounds
honest,
very pahadi.
I didn't really find any pahadi here, so
Yeah, I'm
this
from
is real.
Haldwani.
Okay,
Yeah, I grew
okay,
up in
yes.
Haldwani. Yeah.
Oh God, okay, okay,
So
okay.
I
Haldwani
grew up in
was.
Haldwani, and then I did my education from.
Mhm.
Yeah. Hey, I have to move now, but we'll
All
talk
right,
later. Okay.
all right. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. I'll.
Hey, Todd, how are you?